yeah. And she went off to Spain to get an award, and I was very excited that the possibility existed to give Betty Davis another great role. This is a great villainous role, you know.
Well, I must say I have a great admiration for her, too, as well as the kind of a legendary thing when she put in the trade papers something about, you know, actress, 2 Oscars to whatever. Yeah, I mean, it was like all of her achievements and so forth. Wants work.
Wants work. Isn't that the tragedy?
No,
and that's why I like to write roles for the type of actors, especially older actresses, older actors, character actors, who don't often have that opportunity. I want to champion their talents. As a writer, I can. I have been, you know, as an actor, too, I've been a character actor, so I know what it's like. I've been in George Bernard Shaw plays, playing, this is...
What is that?
Private Meek. Private Napoleon Alexander Trotsky Meek. A private in the British Army, but a military genius. And it was one of Shaw's very wonderful but rarely done plays, written in 1931. I did that at the Old Globe Theater in San Diego. Here's one of my more serious studies. What could this be from? Hamlet, perhaps? Yeah. What else have we got? And just a little gallery of the different characters I played. So you see, I know what an actor needs and the kind of roles actors love to play, and I sort of play every role when I create my script.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to ask you that in terms of your writing, like where is the, you know, how does the writer and the actor, how do they interplay with each other?
Very intimately, I should think. In my case, very organically. I literally do act out each of the roles. And
so that some of your writing comes from, in a sense, acting it out. And
yes, very much so. Once I have decided on the story and the style and the characters, but this is the wonderful thing, the spontaneous aspect of it. It's not all calculated, it's not all planned. I have a general idea usually. Sometimes I might even have the major plot points already decided. But how I get to A to B to Z, I don't know, because I want the characters to come alive. It's a very interesting process.
And as an actor, when you're really working on a character, how...
As an actor?
Yeah.
My background, my grandmother was an actress who, I didn't realize this. We were separated for many years. I re-met her really when I was 25 and discovered she was an actress. So I'm convinced that this talent is something that can be inherited. And so that was something I naturally was able to do as an actor rather than studying diligently any particular method. I've read widely, you know, Stella Adler, Stanislavski, Lee Strasberg's books, all that. But also just osmosis, internal abilities, practice, and just being thrown in there at a young age into the theater and doing it. Doing it and doing it and doing it. And having a sense of truth about that character. Where is that character coming from? And what is the author's intention? And that's very important to me.
Okay. Well, what in terms of now Harold Lloyd, is this?
Oh, Harold Roach.
Roach.
There's another great talent who lived to be 100. Hal Roach is the original producer of Laurel and Hardy comedies.
Will you do a little close on that one, maybe there?
There he is when he was a very youthful 90 years old, believe it or not. And that is at his home. I interviewed him when I was a student at the UCLA Film School. I wrote a paper on American film comedy, and he was so impressed with all the facts I knew about his career and Laurel and Hardy and the Hal Roach Studios that we became close friends. And even into when he was 96, he asked me to help him write his comeback comedy.
Really?
Yes, indeed. He was still eager and anxious and ready to make a big splash in Hollywood again.
Well, I've seen a couple of pieces with your 100-year-old ladies. I haven't seen your 100-year-old man yet.
It was purely coincidental. I had no idea when I met him. He was 81 when I met him. I didn't know he'd live almost 20 years longer.
Wow.
And that we'd maintain a friendship all that time. But what an inspiration, you know. when some of us in our 20s and 30s and beyond get a little depressed, think about these people who have such a zest for life that age means nothing to them.
Yes, there's something that I think is so fantastic too about the way you really honor and are aware of the legendary, the legends of the entertainment industry.
Yes, thank you.
And so often people just,
It shouldn't be forgotten. And who knows? I wouldn't mind helping to create stars of any age myself. That would be a wonderful sideline or benefit from my writings. If I could do that, I'd be very happy.
Let's plan for that.
Thank you. Oh, this is very encouraging because for so long I've been squirreled away, mostly on purpose, just to focus on my work, to do a lot of inner work too, and not be distracted by the outer world.
Well, I do think there's a balance between finding that inner place where we are doing what is truthful and meaningful to ourselves, and reaching out and going beyond the kind of box that we put ourselves in sometimes. It's a whole extra challenge. It's a whole extra new area. I know I've had that experience certainly myself. It's like I'll go up to a certain thing and then I'll, doing the show. I've been doing it for years and years and years and years and years. And every now and then somebody says, well, why don't you take it to the next level and do something, and it's sort of like, well, I think about it, but it takes some doing, and making that kind of commitment to move to another level with something is something that a lot of us get. It's really easy to be comfortable.
Yes, that's true, comfortable. And maybe it's some blend of fate and destiny, who knows, timing, I don't know.
Well, I think there's some of that as well, but there's also a great deal that has to do with decision. A great deal has to do with what your intent is. But listen, this time does go so quickly. Is there like just a quick 30-second wrap-up that you'd like to share?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I'm so glad you asked for that quote, "Tall oaks from little acorns grow," which was the saying on Laurel and Hardy's little horse and buggy when they were delivering pianos up huge flights of steps. And I was inspired by that. So as a kid watching these Laurel and Hardy comedies, I had no idea someday I'd be working on a script and being friends with the man who produced their comedies back in the 30s. And so anything's possible. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you for being here. And we'll kind of go along and keep a running tab on how things are going, and I will look forward to seeing you back here again.
Thank you. I'll look forward to that too. Thanks.